Okay? Exactly. Singing 12 verses, each one repeated. So, yep.
So, Michael, is there someone else who can lead this? Is there someone else who can do it right now?
Stephen.
Let's do that.
Okay, then you can carry out.
I'll tell you.
Please silence your phones for the service. We will start with our unity statement. We cover your hymnal. There is one presence and one power in this church, in our lives, and in the universe, God, good and unlimited. And the 5 unity principles. Number 1. God is absolute good, everywhere present. God lives with us. Number 2. God lives with us, therefore we are everywhere good. Number 3. We are co-creators with God. We create our experiences with others. Number 4. Prayer is a great thing that heightens our connection with God. Number 5. It is not enough to simply know these principles. We must live the truth we know. Please stand for the Lord's Prayer. Number 2, page number 2 in the hymnal.
That whatever may have been burdening you or bothering you before you came to this space, let it just fall away from you just for the next 60 minutes or so. Let yourself be free. Let yourself be free to take in this information that perhaps you've heard before, but maybe you're here in a certain way, a different way today. Or maybe you're here in a way where it hits you, where you're ready to move differently. Or as Acts 17:25 says, live, move, and have our being in Him. And maybe at the end of this, you'll be ready to release it. And if not, maybe you'll be ready to manage and move more differently. Where you stand in front of it as opposed to it standing in front of you. whatever's brought you to this place at this time, give thanks for it. Don't judge it. Don't give it a title or a name. We just say yes. We're moving forward. Yes to the universe. Yes to all those things that transpired to whatever it was that brought us here. We send prayers and thanksgiving to all that's going on in the world because we know it's all a lesson. It's all come to teach and it has all come to pass. And so we don't get caught up in the temporariness of anything. Because when we know who and whose we are, we move different, we speak different, we talk different, we hear different, we see different. And we're not confined, bound by the ideas of what others attempt to give us. Or as Thomas Trower said, the person who Ernest Holmes studied under the Science of Mind teachings, principle is not bound by precedent. You're not bound by anything that you've experienced before this moment. And you get to use that as a stepping stone, something to shape your thinking, your mind, to something higher and greater that you get to own and use in the world. So let's just take a moment and reflect on what that means, what that looks like, that transformation within you. Focus on your breath, taking in the goodness of God, source, supply, gift as well as the giver, and release all that's no longer needed or wanted in your experience. Just take 3 deep cleansing breaths. There's no fear, there's nothing to fear. Just the unfolding of the good, as Charles Fillmore so often said, unfolding. So, we prepare ourselves for the service today. We're already here. Everything that brought us here is preparing us for this. But we're ready to receive. And then from that which we receive, we're ready to take out in the world as an example of all that the teachings hold dear. Knowing that we are one. Even with those who sometimes we don't agree with, we're still one. The illusion is just that. And if you choose to believe that, that will be what you will create. But whatever you teach in unity, thoughts held in mind produce after their own kind. Choose this day. Choose this day to feel and see differently. We'll close out this part of the program as we move into the next. In the name and the nature of all that's good, perfect, holy, and well, we say amen, and so it is.
Does everybody have a handout of Holy Way? No.
So does everyone have a handout for Holy Way? If you do not have a handout for Holy Way, please have your hand and keep it legally raised. So we are going to sing Holy, Holy Way. Would everyone please stand? Chair. Can you give them a copy of that? Thank Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Be seated.
Today it's my pleasure to introduce Sonja Mathis as our featured guest speaker. Reverend Sonja graduated from the University of Georgia in Athens with a bachelor's degree of business administration in risk management and insurance. She was raised Baptist before being introduced to New Thought teachings under Reverend Barbara King of Hillside Truth Center in Atlanta, Georgia, and Dr. Kennedy Schultz of the Atlanta Church of Religious Science. Sonja received a Master's of Divinity from Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute in June of 2022, and followed it with a Master's in Consciousness Studies from Holmes Institute in June of 2023. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Sonja Mathis.
Good morning. As I always say, probably what I was saying last time, I'm going to say my time because I was raised Baptist. You don't leave till it gets dark and the food's ready. So, let's see, I'm going to set my timer really and truly. I want to thank Reverend Stephen for allowing me to come back and visit. I so enjoyed my time last time in New Orleans. I just returned from Unity Village. I was there at another conference, and then I came here today, so I am moving. And that's okay, that's a good thing. So today we're going to talk about teleology. The title of my talk today is The Theology and the Teleology. Now I'm going to tell you, since I was a little joke, I initially tell people, when I first graduated, as I was working on my last class for UWSI, Dr. Woodruff used to always say to me, Mathis, there's too much in that talk. Well, there's going to be too much in this one, too. There's too much in all of them. All right, so, but I do want to just update you. Let's see, I graduated from Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute in 22, but they just recently asked me to be adjunct faculty. So I'm going to start teaching as adjunct faculty for Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute this month, so I'm really excited about that. And so thank you for that. And so, it just hit me though, that means I got to read the stuff too. And their papers. So we're going to work it out though. So anyway, my talk today is theology and teleology. Now we're all familiar with theology. That's the study of God. That's the study of our relationship to God, the divinity of God. Yeah, there we go. The divinity of God. But teleology, I wanted to spend some time with that because we don't spend a lot of time on that. In New Thought, we're really cause and effect type people. We're the type of people that this happened for that reason, and then we can get really stuck. We can get stuck in the effect and not understanding that there's also a purpose. And that's the reason I like the teleology. Teleology, I'm going to read it. And this actually goes back to Aristotle and Socrates, as most of these things too. We call it New Thought, but it's ancient wisdom. So teleology is actually a philosophical term that explores the events in terms of their purpose. Not so much what caused them, but what's the purpose. The most popular one that we will probably all be aware of is Job. You know, Job said, that which I fear has come upon me. And so much was happening. I'm sure Job was like, well, what did I do? You make sure I don't do that again, you know. So, but what's the purpose? Is it to make us more empathetic, more compassionate, more understanding, give us a broader perspective of perhaps what other people are going through? Because one of the things we often say is, why me? Why is this happening to me? And then when someone throws out the counter, why not you? Then, you know, that can be triggering, you know, what did I do? And on the way down to this morning, because I drove in, and I was speaking with a lady on the phone, and she's going through a health challenge, and she just kept saying, why is God doing this to me? And I said, well, I don't want you to feel like it's a punishment. You know, look for that lining of what is it that you can get from it. But teleology actually comes from the Greek word, and it means the aim or the goal of the end. And I'm just going to read you this part. The end reveals God's purpose for the beginning, the end being regarded as the thought of God at the beginning, or the universe, viewed as the realization of God and the eternal purpose. So the end says so much of what we go through. And as opposed to just getting stuck in that one place of, why am I here? You know, why am I dealing with this? What did I do wrong? And that can just be really, really limiting to your journey when you can fixate on the idea, what did I do wrong, as opposed to expanding it. What can I learn from this? What testimony can I give? How can I grow? I was listening to something yesterday, and the gentleman was talking about, even in trauma, he called it G over D, growth over disorder. Even in trauma, there's still growth to be had. And you just don't shut down. I'm gonna tell you, I was raised Baptist, so I use a lot of scripture, but it's not going to scare you. Everybody's going to be happy at the end where I incorporate it. But the lotus flower, I think about how the lotus flower descends into the mud and the dirt each night. And that reminds me of Romans 12:2, be in the world but not of the world. Because the next morning when the lotus flower comes up again, it's not tarnished, it's not compromised. You can't look at the flower and go, I know where you've been and what you've been doing. It's beautiful. It hasn't been compromised in any way. And so when we can look at the purpose of why we go through things, it actually strengthens us. It makes us stronger so that we can take on more. And I'm not saying envision a life where, okay, I'm so strong, I just want to be beat up all the time. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. But any of you who are yoga students, there's a pose in yoga called Warrior 2. And Warrior 2 is held so strongly that anybody that will come against you, any force that will come against you, will look at you and go, I don't want none of that smoke. They just look at you because you just come, you're inside. You know, Jesus talked about authority. Authority comes from within. What happens with a lot of us, why we fall short when we take those steps to stand in our truth is our authority that we give ourselves, our power comes from our things. Our money, our cars, our houses, our looks, our kids, our job. And those things will fail you quickly because they are temporary. But anything that comes from the inside, as Jesus said, I've been given all authority within heaven and earth. Anything that comes from the inner, that's why we go within, so we won't go without. Anything that comes from the inner has its own sustaining force. It pulls from the substance, the underlying substance that Fillmore talks so much about. So, any of you are soap makers in here. Well, nobody makes soap anymore. Okay, well you need to go find some YouTube videos, watch 5 of them, and you'll be a soap maker. You can go to Cold Foods, whatever, and put you some soap in there. But there's a term in soap making called trace. And trace just means that when the mixture has been stirred enough that the oil and the lye are no longer at risk of separating. And when we're on our journey, a lot of us move too quickly. We haven't done our work. Coming to classes that Stephen puts in place and his mother, whatever, and other leaders of the church. That's a part of that stirring, getting you in line with so that you're not separated from God, so that you're truly one. But in the soap making, that stirring, it continues and it continues and it continues till there's no risk of separating. When we understand our purpose, why we go through things, you don't have to understand it fully, but what happens is it keeps you better aligned with that one mind, that one God. So that when something comes up, you fall back into the separation of, I'm over here and God's over there. And why is God doing this to me? I did everything right. I did everything I was supposed to. I got to church on time. I went to all those classes. I tithed. I sat through things I didn't even want to sit through, but I was pleasant. I sat there and I nodded my head, and why is God doing this to me? And so there was something missing in the idea of your alignment with God. So you have to keep doing that practice over and over. Now, what the soul makers will tell you, when you know you've reached trace, is when the mixture is no longer liquid. It has a form. And you will see as you keep stirring, it creates lines. It has a form. It's creating this form. That speaks to what we talk about, bringing the invisible into the visible. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But Hebrews 11:3 says that everything we see comes from something we cannot see. So that means you're a powerful creator. And with that initial thought in mind, you're always pulling from the invisible into the visible. Just like the soap makers with the trace. They're always pulling things from the invisible into the visible. So when we look at our purpose, when we look at, okay, what does this come to teach me? What does this has come to show me? One of the things I pastored a church in Tuscaloosa for 20 years, and I did not mean to do that. We had a husband-wife team, and they quit. They just left. And I was still in my 20s back then, so I decided to go home and write me a sermon. And so the next Sunday, I said, I'm going to give the sermon, and then let me give the sermon. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had that one Emily Cady book and one Charles Phillips. I didn't know what I was doing. But they said, well, Sonja, if you want to keep doing the sermon, we'll keep coming. I was like, are you serious? You know, you'll do that? They're like, yeah, we'll keep coming. So I thought I was holding it together and that Unity was going to send someone and then I would give it to them. And so, every couple of weeks I go, is anyone called? Anyone showed up? And they go, no one's here. You got to keep going. That went on for 15 years. Before I figured out no one was coming. It took me 15 years to figure out no one was coming. And so God's Spirit told me, you need to go to school because you're waiting on yourself. Okay, well, since I'm waiting on myself, I will go to school. But one of the things I found when I was a pastor, active pastor, was people often wanted to know, how can I be different? I've read all the books, I went to all the classes, but I'm still not feeling any transmutation, any transformation. How can I be different? So that's why I'm going to share some things with you from my time. How many of you heard, and I might have mentioned this last time, but I think this is so powerful, Heraclitus, a pre-Socratic Greek philosopher, with Anaxagoras, they're powerful. But and Heraclitus, just so you know, he was the one that said you can't step in the same river twice. The people you meet on the way up the ladder, the people you're going to meet on the way down. And I just wanted to make sure you know, because I thought my grandmother created those. So if you thought your grandmother created those, we can know that was Heraclitus that did that. But one of the things Heraclitus said that I think would be awesome for us thinking things differently. Heraclitus said, strive not to be like the children of your parents. Let me say that once more. Strive to not be like the children of your parents. And what that means is Socrates was the one that said an unexamined life is not worth living. We're given a lot of things. And it's not out of malicious attempt or anything, but we're given a lot of things that aren't ours. And sometimes we don't have the awareness of the knowing to either give them back to who gave them to us, or if you really want to go to the next step, destroy it. Take it out of the family lineage. Remove that idea. Send it back to the nothingness from which it comes. But it's not yours to hold. I'll give you an example. A lot of people make chicken or turkey or hens the way their grandmother did. They would cut the back off of it and then put it in the pot. And so there was this one lady, she did as everybody else did. She kept cutting off the back and seasoning and putting it in the pot. And then one day a relative asked her, why do you do that? And she said, because this is the way great-grandmother or grandmother taught us. She said, but you know she cut the back off because her pan was too small. Why do you do it? And she didn't have an answer because she was so busy following things that had been given to her, she had never stopped to think about it. And so you want to move beyond that, and it's a process. Because it's easy. It's easy to say, this is what they taught me. One of the things in this teaching that is exhilarating, but it's also scary, is it comes with a lot of responsibility and accountability. Because you have to stand in your truth and know what it is you do and why you do it. In Isaiah 43:19, God says, I'm doing a new thing. I'm doing a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Can you not see it? That's something that could be an affirmation for each of us. I'm doing a new thing in your life. Whatever you've been doing, and you just keep doing it. Deepak Chopra says in his latest book, and I cannot remember the title right now, but his latest book, he said, vow to stop doing the things that never worked. And that's a part of that purpose. Why am I going through this? Sometimes it's just to show you, you don't have to keep doing it. It didn't serve it. It didn't serve the people who taught it to you. It didn't serve the people who taught it to them. How about put that to rest? How about we move into something else? And I'm going to give you 3 quotes. I'm going to give you a quote from Eric Butterworth. Eric Butterworth said, the unforgivable sin is the closed mind. The closed mind. Ernest Holmes said, stay open at the top. No matter what comes up, just be open. Just don't be so quick to shut things down. You don't know what you send away from you, what blessing you can't take in. Because you're so busy saying, I don't understand that, I don't know about that, I don't want to know about that. All right. And then Ernest Fillmore says, there's an inlet and an outlet. And I love that one because that means all the good that's there for you to receive is always coming towards you, but the outlet is releasing, constantly releasing that which is no longer serves you. It doesn't represent who or whose you are. So we want to be open with that. That's another way we can be different. Another way we can be different is find the similarities rather than the differences. It is so easy to see how you're different from someone. It really is. You can do that. But when you study science and see how similar our DNAs are, you got to move away from those topics. They no longer make sense. And so that's moving beyond the physical eye into the spiritual eye. But one thing you can do, I did a talk a couple years ago, and this is more so for women, but some men, this can apply for them too. When I find myself disagreeing with a female, because most females like shoes. They like shoes. And so if we're going back and forth, hopefully she got some shoes I can halfway agree with it. But, but even if she doesn't, her toes are painted, I'm going to find something. Where did you get those shoes? And then there's a shift. There's a shift because now I'm trying, and then from shoes, we can build on something else. We can build on where do you buy your produce? Or where did you get your carpet? We can keep building, we can keep finding things. Now at some point, if you find something that you hit and you go, oh, that's a sore spot, back off, because there's something else. There are more things. Most of us, I've traveled to 22 countries, and I love to talk to people when I go. And one thing I find is everybody wants to live in a safe environment. They want clean water. They want good education. They want to feel safe. All over the world, everybody wants the same thing. So then why are we so divided? Why are we so divided when we all want the same thing? Look for what makes you similar. And the outer things do not make you similar. Those are just outer things. We're spiritual beings having a what? Human experience. I know everybody knows that one, right? So everybody knows that one. All right, so a prophet. Let's talk about what a prophet is. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about moving into prophet status. According to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, a prophet is an idea or person that holds an idea so strongly that all the other outlying ideas have to come into alignment with it. So you want to hold your ideas so strongly that those people who are opposed to you, they either must come in with you or they vibrate away. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Think about Gandhi. He took on the British Empire. He was that prophet, that idea, where the British Empire and the other outlying ideas had to come in alignment with them. These are things we can all do. We all have a prophet status. Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Stephen Biko. We have many people that we can fashion contemporarily about how to make this happen. Of course, we're talking about Joshua. Joshua, Jesus, Apostle Paul. We can go back in history, and then we have people right here, such as Reverend Sheep, a prophet right here, and that we can study and understand that I can do that too. And moving fearlessly into that which is yours to do. Now, no one may ever write you an article in the New York Post. You may never get on the local news channel or whatever, but you still won't be without doing what is yours to do. In the Baha'i faith, because I love to study the different religions, in the Baha'i faith, they teach that the cross, the vertical, is your relationship with God, and the horizontal is your relationship with man. And so, in their teachings, you can't love God without loving God's people, and you can't love God's people without loving God. Now, in the church I grew up in, you would have people who would come early and they do all the little activities, get everything going, and then you say good morning, and they walk by you so fast, the wind from them will knock you over, and they won't say a word to you, but they're doing God's work. They're doing God's work. But there's in the Baha'i faith, there's an internal and an outer aspect, and until those come together, then the growth is not there. The idea of who and whose you are isn't there. And even though you're going through the rituals, because unfortunately that's what a lot of us do. We get caught up in rituals, and then we wonder, why am I not progressing? Why am I not moving forward? Why does my head still hurt, my stomach hurt? Why does everybody get on my nerves, you know? Well, you probably get on their nerves too, you know? And so when we go in and do our work, when you go within, you'll never, ever go without. I took a job as a regional supervisor for a military contractor. And so every time I have 20 counselors under me. So whenever my counselors get upset, they just start bombarding me with all these phone calls and stuff. And I always want to say to them, why don't you go within so you don't go without? And I was like, I can't say that. But you know what that email from HR would look like? Where are you sending them? Where are they? What's in there? Stop sending them over there. We don't know how to get them back. Where are you sending them over there? Vertical and the horizontal. But there's something in quantum physics called superentanglement. Wayne Dyer wrote about it in one of his books. And he talks about how the shaman said that there's a line that encircles the universe. And anybody who chooses to be a part of this steps in, they become a part of this entanglement. And so that's what helps us hear one another, see one another, man, because once we figured out our own purpose, and I don't mean figure out like we gotta have it all done, but we've accepted or whatever we go through leads to that purpose, we can. So I'm gonna give you an example of someone who does not understand their entanglement. So two women who went to high school together, they encounter one another again. And so they're talking, but there's one lady that's talking a little bit more than the other. She's just going on and on and on talking. And the other lady just patiently sits there and she's listening. So the first lady finally decides she's talking too much. And she says, oh, look at me just going on and on about myself. I'm going to stop. Let's talk about you. What's going on with you? What do you think of me? And that's where a lot of us are. We think we're the most interesting subject in the room. And while you may be on some levels, everyone has a story. Everyone has beauty to give and something to teach. And when you're not open, stand open at the top to take in other people's stories, because their stories will help you. I often learn, that's why I really like to listen to people. I often learn something that can make my life better. But if I decide that everything I do is great and the best since cheese or bread or whatever you think is best, then I'm not going to be open to that thing. I'm not going to be open to that thing. The last time I was here, I shared with you, I want to share this before I share the story. You're going to still have moments where you're triggered. You're going to still have moments where you are not going to want to hear anything anybody's telling you. You're still going to have things where somebody's going to come home after 30 years of marriage and say, oh, I'm not anymore. Your job's going to do a shutdown, a reduction in force. You're going to get a court summons, something from the mortgage company. You're going to get something. And I want you to understand that this is a part of that purpose. This is a part of you being able to use those principles to move through that. Somebody, I was going too fast. I was, and so the police pulled me over, and I just kept saying, I learned my lesson, and I'm beyond this. I learned my lesson and I'm beyond it. And she came to the car and she says, you don't want to take me, do you? I said, not really. And she says, all right then, well, go home. You know, and I'm just saying it's always going to be that easy. Sometimes you won't get what you want. Sometimes it's just the perspective of what the situation you're going through. But when people say things to you and you take that verb and you put it with that pronoun and it's not thank you, y'all get it? The verb with the pronoun is not thank you. You still say things to them like that. And you're going to spend all night on the phone apologizing, so do your work, to the whole family. But when you say that you're still whole, is my point. You're still whole. Don't do, like Deepak Chopra taught us, don't keep doing things that don't work, because it doesn't help the situation when you have those outbursts. It doesn't help you or the person you exploded on. So be gentle with yourself, because yes, you're divine, but you're still human. But you don't have to do those things, and you can move beyond them. So let's see how much time I have. I want to do right by the Baptist. All right. So I'm going to share a story with you. So I love to travel. So I was in. I had an assignment in Japan, and my assignment was over. I went over to Beijing, and so I went to hike a section of the Great Wall. I hope I haven't told the story again. If I have, I got several others I can tell. I hiked a section of the Great Wall, and it was the most challenging section of the Great Wall. And I weighed much more than I do now, and you know, I haven't been working out. I probably shouldn't have been on it, but I did. I wanted to be on it. And this is going to be an example of how you can make a difference wherever you are. So the hike leader is a man from Beijing. He's been doing these hikes every Saturday for 15 years. So I don't care how beautiful it is, he was over it, you know. And so we were moving too slow, and I was moving the slowest, because like I said, I wasn't in shape or anything. And so when we get to the top, where you begin the hike, I had to sit down for a moment, and there were three other ladies. One was from San Francisco, one was from Cape Cod, the other was from Holland. And so we got along famously. The Great Wall is actually about almost 2 hours away from Beijing. So all the van ride over, we're just loving each other and having a good time. And so anyway, we get on the wall, and I had to sit down and rest, and I could tell he was done with me. He was done. That man was like, if I could find a way to pitch you over this wall. And so I was like, okay, I'll deal with it. So there was a part of the hike where he wanted to go over a bluff, and he had all these little treats he wanted to give everyone. And so when it was time to go over the bluff, he looked at me and he says, you stay here. Oh my God, I'm sitting there on the Great Wall, I have no phone signal. I mean, who am I called, you know? And so there's a Greek word called metaxi, where you're waiting for the human to become divine. And so it's important sometimes to just wait, see what's going to happen. So we were on the wall, me and the four ladies and him, because you can tell he dug in his heels like he done something good, you know. And so we're all just staring at each other. We're just all like, and I was like, I'm not going to say a word because I don't know what to say. I'm out here, you know, really far from home. And so all of a sudden, the little lady from San Francisco, I call her the little alabaster goddess, she looks at me and she says, do you want to stay over here? I said, no, I want to go where you all go. I want juices and fruit and Snicker bars. I want what everybody else gets. And so she looks at the guy, his name was Peter. Maybe I shouldn't say his name. What's that? So she looks at Peter and she says, hey buddy, she starts snapping her fingers. And it was something methodical and transformative about that snapping. She said, hey buddy, she's going where we go, she's going to do what we do, and you're going to help her. You're going to help her. Well, his eyes got big, and if you read Emily Kate, she talks about the chemicalization, where the old man is confronted with the new man, and they start warring. Well, he starts going, okay. He couldn't stop himself. He just kept saying, okay. And it's the four of us on the Great Wall, and I said, oh God, we should have built an altar, what's the guy named? And Jacob did. We should have built an altar. And so the other lady, it was infectious. The other ladies got involved and said, that's right, she's going and you're going to help us. And so he comes over and he grabs my backpack and he helps me over the wall, and I got more juices than I wanted, you know, because they were watching him. Like, even if it was like, well, how many is one? And she wants another. Give her another. I didn't need that juices, you know. And so we in the hike, well, he was different. Because as I mean as a prophet, that one lady from San Francisco, she held an idea so high, he had to come in alignment. He had no choice. And everybody had to come in alignment with it. So we ended the hike, it went well, he was nice. That was the end of that. 3 years later, my sister goes to Beijing because she's always competing with me. And so she goes to Beijing, she calls me, and she says, what hike was that you did when you were here? And so I gave her the info and everything. I said, watch out for Peter, he's something else. And so she said, okay. So she signs up, she goes to the hike. She calls me back 2 days later. I said, how did it go? She said, you must have read him wrong. He was awesome. What? Really? She said, yeah, he helped me. She said, I had all the juices I wanted. I had Snicker bars and crackers. And she said, I injured myself, and he helped me down. What? He wouldn't help me up. He helped her down. And I said, you know what happened though? What I think? And she said, I think you read him wrong. I said, no, I didn't read him wrong. We created a situation where his behavior was not tolerated. And he had to change. And like I said, you won't hear this anywhere from but me. You're not going to hear it on CNN, whatever, MSNBC, whatever all those things are. You won't hear it anywhere. But it happened, and it's real. And this is something any and all of us can do. Call out truth. Call out truth. I'm going to share this final thing with you. I have a friend, used to be in the ACIM group, a Course in Miracles group with me. She's a white woman. And she said she grew up in southern Alabama. There was a lot of bad behavior going on, a lot of homophobic slurs, racial slurs, gender slurs, and she had gotten used to it. And she said that when she came into New Thought teachings, those things just irritated her. She couldn't stand it. So she's at Thanksgiving one year, and they're doing their thing, doing all that talking. And so she said she slammed her hand on the table, and she said, "Stop it! You're better than that!" And she said, everybody just, the eyes got big, and they just got quiet. Because I thought it was a beautiful way to call people out without putting them down. Because that's often what we do. We call them out, and then we go, "You're so stupid," blah, blah, blah. And who wants to join anything you're giving or offering when you're putting them down? So we want to do that. Now, if you say, "You're better than that," and they say, "No, I'm not," you have my permission to run. As far as you can. Like Maya Angelou said, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Now, you can leave them a space over there. If they decide they want to be different and do different, but you don't have to stay in that within them, because anybody that will hold that idea for themselves, they're not safe for you. They're not safe for you. And so you want to hold them in a circle, you want to hold them in the light, where at any moment they can make that transformation and that shift. But in the meantime, you give them the space to be who they are. I think I've gone over everything I wanted to go over, and I know I did not stay within my time. I know I did. So anyway, I'm going to leave it here. I want to encourage you all to, as John 8:11 says, go and sin no more. We know in this teaching, sin no more means raise your thinking, upgrade. Don't see yourself as less than. Go and don't do that anymore, because that was never intention. That is not who and whose you are. You're meant for great things. Move into it. The world is waiting on us. Just like I didn't know I was at that church for 15 years because I was waiting on myself. The world is waiting on us. Step into that and be the glorious beings that you always intended. Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
announcements. Electronic giving at the front desk is available at the front desk in the lobby. Just scan the QR code. Copies of today's service are available on CD at the front desk, and you can find us on YouTube and Facebook. Next Sunday, October 20th, Reverend Fleming will be delivering the Sunday message, and you can see details in Thursday's newsletter. Did everyone receive an email invitation to Reverend Stephen's installation ceremony? It's taking place Sunday, October 27th. If you plan to attend, please email us at unityofneworleans@gmail.com and give us your name, and this will give us a number of people for this catered event. We will be issuing tickets that Sunday to everyone who is on the RSVP list, and people with tickets will get served their food first. So far, we have 50 people who are on the RSVP list. And if you don't use email, you can just go to Wiki at the front desk and give them your name so you can be on the list. Also, there are more details in the newsletter about the installation ceremony. Is everyone signed up for the newsletter? You need to be, with so many things going on. If not, please see the front desk and scan the QR code to sign up electronically, or you can manually fill in a card. Do we have any new visitors today? Okay, please stand up, and if you would, give us your name and how you found Unity.
My name is Mark Muller, with my family, Reverend Sheila. I met her last Wednesday. It was very inspirational. Our household. We're here.
My name is Bernicia Muller. My name is Sadie Muller.
Glad to have your family.
Thank you.
You can also sign up for information for new members at the front desk, either electronically or manually. Prayer chaplains are available after the service. Our chaplains will participate with you in prayer and in total confidentiality. They will be up here in the front altar, and we ask that you honor this sacred space. And if you want to talk with a friend or just have general fellowship, you can do that either in the family room or in the lobby. My name is Terry Dashadu. I serve as a platform speaker and also as a member of the board of directors. And we're always looking for people who would like to do sacred service. And it's all kinds of committees that we have. So whatever your talent is, please come forward and you can talk to me or Reverend Steve. We're happy to have anyone help us. And now our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. The Lord watches between me and thee, while we are absent one from the other, and helps us to know that we are all one spirit, through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Please form a circle for our peace song.